Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello, Greg.
Hello.
Welcome to another special edition of Supernatural Talk. Brad, I am glad you're here.
Yep, here he is.
Disclaimer, this is a special 2 hour edition of Supernatural Talk.
That's right.
Yes.
Not an 8-hour one.
Correct. We are only doing 2 hours for a number of reasons. One, I don't want to go any longer than 2 hours. Two, Greg can't go any longer than 2 hours because he's got his own show tonight.
Right. And no, we're not doing 10 hours either.
Well, okay. We'll make a deal, Brad. You can have your 10 hours. You're getting it.
Oh, jeez, no, I cannot do that either.
Or you could just watch this over for 5 times. Just 5 times in a row, and that's 10 hours. So
well, he's changed his mind. He wants it to go 12 hours.
That'll work because I'm pretty sure that you'll probably catch something different each time you watch it.
What's up, Tom?
But the still amount of times you shake your head will probably be the same. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
really?
probably.
Oh, look who's back on Facebook, by the way. Jill.
About time, Jill. It's about time we had you back.
I haven't seen you in a very, very long time. It's good to see you.
Yeah, she finally made her return on Tuesday night on Fear Fans.
Awesome.
It was exciting to see her back.
Yeah.
Oh, hi to Annabelle over there behind you.
What I call the cliche. The cliche, yeah.
Tom, I talk a lot, but I sure as hell do not talk for 12 hours.
Okay.
No one is rising to your defense, Nick. No one's like, oh no, that's right, you're right, you don't. No, everyone's just quiet at that point. So oh God.
The perfect night, the important hosts are on.
Just so that you know, Adrian and Eileen most likely will not be on tonight. Adrian's working, and so is Eileen. In fact, Eileen was saying that she's got some sort of inspection going on, so she's going to be working very late. And with Adrian, they're now going into peak season for her work, so they're going to be doing some extra hours. But Brad, just for you, I did promise to send you her deathly regards.
Hey, Adam's in the house. Hefty, good to see you.
All right. I'm gonna check real quick, see if he is that first.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is it 2 Facebook users?
Yeah, we have another one. Robin Swanson.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So that's who this is saying. Ask him if it's worth to get that 12-hour show.
Yep. That was her asking. That was her asking that.
I wonder if this is Adam now saying hello, everyone, or is this a third Facebook user?
That is the Todd.
The Todd, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa from Toronto, Canada.
Hello, Melissa.
Not the same, Jeremy. I came for my weekly threat.
Okay, how about this, Brad? I'm going to kill you.
There we go. That sounds great.
Thank God that's recorded on video.
Oh, Jill has this regards to your show.
We get that on video 2 or 3 times a week. So, yeah. Jill, it's not natural talk without Adrian threatening to kill Brad.
Yep. Yeah, we missed you, Jill.
Well, I was in a forest with Brad a few months ago, and if I would have known, we could have made arrangements and disappearances could have happened. So, I'm just saying what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying.
I think so too.
Wink, wink.
So, speaking of shows tonight, a few weeks ago, you started doing Ghostbusters Radio 5 nights a week.
You mean 3 months ago? Yes. It's been 3 months already.
Has it been that long?
Wow.
Yeah.
Time Why?
It's been 2 months. I can't count. I
Sorry,
don't know
that's
what numbers are. It's 2 months. We started July 10th with the 5 nights a week. Yeah. So it's been amazing. It's been a dream come true to start with, because I mean, from my time of a lot of people will say Coast to Coast, Art Bell. For me, it was Darkness Radio, listening to Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis nightly, and having a background in radio. It's like, boy, wouldn't it be great to actually do a paranormal radio show? And so for those who may not know or care, because there's a lot of them that probably don't care, we do it on Things. We do the visual on Things, but the show goes out over the air to a reach of 100,000 people in the Twin Cities. So it's a 5-night-a-week radio show, and we have to be one of the few nightly radio shows that focuses on paranormal that isn't a Coast to Coast, or that isn't a big syndicated program. So I'm really excited that we are doing that. So it's exciting. It's good. I mean, sometimes you have guests that aren't that great, because I see one of them in the chat right now. But that's what happens sometimes, is that you end up, you have, for every like 20 good guests, you have one real piece of crap that you just are like, that's the odds. That's the way it plays.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because not only have you showed us your skills in being a radio host, but we also recently learned that you are actually a very skilled photographer.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that great?
So,
oh, by the way, just so you guys know, that's basically what Ernie looks like under a high definition camera.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually being generous. I think this is a very good look for him. He was getting a little pissy about it, but honestly, I mean, someday he'll look back and be like, you know what, it could have been a lot worse. And it's like I said, it's my file photo of him. I don't have any other photos of him. I don't know where to get photos, or care really where to get photos. So yeah, no, I was. I mean, I think too, Jim.
I have to say,
you love us, Ernie.
I'm thinking that the moment that you took this picture, Denise was talking about wanting another goat. Hence the flatness of his mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, that mouth wasn't shut like that during the show. But I mean, whatever. It's it's what we do. It's you take. It's like the Facts of Life theme song. You take the good, you take the bad. Take it all, and there you have. So, yeah, it was all right.
Jeremy, who's this Facebook user right here? Because is that
Facebook user? Well, hang on. I got a million things going on here.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
And while you're looking, I just want to say
it's Adam.
That is Adam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Adam.
And the one who said hi all is Bart Costi.
Oh, hey, Bart.
Hey, Bart. I was just going to say, that's the look that Ernie gave me exactly when I asked for my chunky bar that I left behind in Kentucky, that I thought that he wasn't going to just throw out willy-nilly. But, that's...
Brad said you forgot the eyeliner in that picture.
I remember that chunky bar statement.
Back in just a second.
I also remember his... what would you say, insensitivity towards
about the fact that he didn't care that what he did to my chunky bar, the fact that he just threw it out and asked if I wanted it. I mean, they don't sell them in Minnesota. Okay, let's just put that out there from the start. They don't sell them in Minnesota. I was so excited. I just walked up, it's like 300 degrees outside in West Point, Kentucky. I walk, what is like 10 miles or something. I have something like that to the grocery store. And they had chunky bar, and they didn't melt on the way back. So I made a mistake. I left it behind. I thought he would have just been like, you know what, my friend, here you are. I'm going to make sure you have this. And that just didn't happen. So What can you say, Jeremy? I mean, it's just sad. I mean, just really upset.
Yeah, it really is. Ernie is such a mean man. Um, for one,
For one of many reasons.
well, for one, he did this to you.
Yes, he did. He did. He did.
And too bad Nick is not here to see that.
And it's just like I don't know why he's trying to do like revenge art, because honestly, all I was doing is trying to, because I've seen pictures of him, none of them really passed muster. So that's why we did the drawing, because it's the most kind way to present him visually. And then he comes out with this, but that's okay. I mean, that's just a sign of someone who just hasn't matured as a human being yet, and that's cool. Everyone matures at their own rate. So
at least Nick gets to see this.
That's quite a scary looking picture.
Yeah, it is. It's what we call Nick revenge art, but that's fine. Whatever people need to act out their aggressions, at least he's not stepping on a rat or something in anger. So I mean, that's all I can care about.
Well, I do have to say, Ernie actually did a pretty good job at this, because he was able to get the words to actually go along with the curve of the eyebrows.
Right, and I have perfect eyebrows, so I mean that is good, because I didn't want him to look foolish with his art, so that's all right.
Oh yeah, Denise.
Oh yeah, what's this about? A chunky bar?
No, not that.
Which one?
This one.
Oh, this one.
For those who don't know, I had the pleasure of staying with the Pax for 4 days.
And I was supposed to be there too. Not for
pleasure staying with Denise. I don't know if the Pax is quite an appropriate way of saying it. But go on. I don't mean to interrupt your story.
I stayed with them for 4 days, and I got the complete unabridged Pac-Man experience.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And one of those experiences, aside from actually breaking biscuit with Ernie, was going shopping with them at Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Denise was running around Walmart like she hadn't been there for 5 years, and no joke. And every time she picked something up, no. Every time she found something that she thought was cute, no.
Now, because I've experienced this as well. Now, did you have the honor of driving in the minivan with them?
I did.
So then you must understand that for some reason, Ernie goes out of his way to find every pothole and every railroad track that is over, a foot. And just, if you're in the back seat, your head will hit the top of the van. And I think Shar, who is in the very back, she is actually never going to walk again, as it happens, because her spine was broken, her neck was broken. It's just very unfortunate. But, Ernie didn't seem to care a whole lot. So,
Actually, I never had that. The only time that it was rough when he was driving was when we were going to the dirt road to Fort Duffield.
Mm.
Other than that, everything was actually pretty smooth.
Yeah, well, you're injured in other ways, so you don't really know what's going on anyway. So I wouldn't, that's
very true. But yeah, we had so much fun, and they talked quite a bit about when you and Char were out there. They also talked about the event that you guys had out there at Fort Duffield, and then the other event that they had at Fort Duffield where the Todd caught that picture.
Yeah,
he showed on your show. And Ernie, you forgot to tell them about turning the picture upside down.
Hmm.
See,
Yeah.
you tell a story like that, Jeremy, it makes me now even more regretful that I wasn't able to make it. If it wasn't for damn work, I would have gone in a heartbeat.
I know, and I even told them that it seemed like for 5 minutes you actually had hope of being able to go.
I know. Well, I'll make sure that doesn't happen again whenever I get the chance.
Greg, how did you guys like Red?
Oh well, I mean, Red. I mean, of course, Red is amazing. I mean, that was one of the highlights. He's so cute. Except he would fart. And like they'd have to like evacuate him from the house because it just like was like constant. But I mean, that's an older dog. I mean, that's what it is. So, but he's so cute and lovable. I mean, so at least somebody in there is cute and lovable. And so that was really Ernie. Yeah, probably. I think one time he did it and it broke one of the chairs. I mean, no furniture was safe that night. That we had a conversation that went till about 5 a.m, and like I think we broke like 3 chairs. I mean, I don't.
He told me about the late night conversations you guys had, but he didn't say anything about any broken chairs.
What were these chairs even made of?
They're all like antiques, and we I mean, funny enough, I choose wisely. I know my size, I know my weight, and I see furniture and I size it up. So I sat on the couch, and I mean, and it shows that everyone else who weighs less than I do, and are of normal proportions, they're sitting on this stuff and it's breaking. So it was good that I did not sit on any of it myself. So for once, I didn't break something. Normally, it is me that I could just look at something, it'll self-destruct. You know, that's why people are like, "You want to hold my baby?" I'm like, "No," because
two of them are priceless.
yeah, no,
Haven't fixed them yet.
no, I didn't think you had.
At times, it was like right after you left, I came aboard almost.
Oh my
Yeah,
God! Imagine having the both of you guys there together.
Well, I mean, it was about 2 months, I think, wasn't it, between the time that you were there and we were there, because we were there early June, I think it was, and yeah, it was really it was great. I mean, and I joke about Ernie all the time, but honestly, we had some of the most eye-opening experiences that weekend, and it was just really fun to be with good people, and they did take good care of us. I was, obviously, I'm not telling any lies about the driving, but it was really good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard that you and Shaw, I think, both either heard or saw something in those woods, thinking that it might have been a Bigfoot.
Well, I mean, I will say that there was no thinking about it. What we were at Fort Duffield, and there's that side, Jeremy, that's the fort, and then there's kind of almost like a horseshoe where the other side is the memorial cemetery, and
Mhm.
it leads down. And we had walked around there a little bit, all of us, because it was Ernie, Denise, Shar, myself, and Kim, and we were walking, and Ernie, Shar, and myself were standing all next to each other, still up kind of by the cemetery area, and we're looking down, downfield where there's some opening. It's moonlight, so the moon is illuminating everything, and I think we're all just like, "Show up! We need to see you! Show up! Show up!" And out of the woods to our right, a furry figure steps out, and independent of each of us, we all at literally the same time, we all point and we're like, "Look at that." And we were just like, it was amazing. And Denise was there too. I know that Denise saw it as well. I just remember the three of us were just like right there. And at the same time, we're like, "Holy cow, look at that." It was just, and what I love about that is independent of each other. It wasn't like someone's like, "Oh, look over there." And we're like, "Oh yeah." No, we're exclamating at the same time, "Holy cow, look at that over there." It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. When when I was out there, I didn't see anything, but Denise went chasing something. She went into
Yeah,
the
she does.
woods.
She does that.
Yeah, she did. Ernie and I were. It was actually right around where the deck area is at, and she was going down the steps and went off the trail and into the woods, and she was looking for something.
Yeah. Well, we when because we went the second night and Brad was with us, and we were in somewhere in Indiana, and we did a couple different locations there, and at one point, I mean, we had already a ton of amazing stuff happen, but then we all kind of drove and we stopped somewhere else, and Denise and I were walking down a road, and something started to throw stuff at us from the woods, and then we were looking and we could see them in the trees actually. They were youngins, and it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And then the others that were further up, they were all getting something up there. They had Squatchman with them, and then Shar and Kim and Ernie were further up the hill, and they started to get stuff as well. So I mean, it was just really, I mean, it was nonstop for someone who's never done it in his life. I never went out squatching in my life. 2 nights full of activity, and the first night when we were at Fort Duffield, we went and we hung out at Fort Duffield, and we heard one of them give a yell, and it was something. I mean, Ernie stopped and he looked. We all looked, and it was something that was just absolutely. You don't hear that, and it was perfect. It was absolutely amazing piece of communication.
I didn't think about this when I went out there, but what you guys really needed that night was a thermal camera.
Right. No, it did. And Kim had night vision goggles, so she was kind of looking at stuff, but yeah, it needed something. But at the same time, I think what I liked about investigating with the packs is that they weren't they just let the night roll. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm all about the equipment and stuff too, but they just like, let's just enjoy the moment. Let's just enjoy what's happening. And suddenly we had an evening of just incredible stuff. And yeah, Squatchman doesn't use thermal, and he also doesn't want people to use flashlights, if at all possible. And and it's a good reminder, for me at least. It was a good reminder that you don't always need that stuff. And I was touched on Saturday night. I was touched by something hit me, not hit me, but put their hand on the back of my head. And Brad was there. He saw me look back because I thought, was there a tree limb or something that I didn't remember was being there? And being an investigator, like all three of us are, we kind of know our surroundings, right? We're all like just aware of everything that's going on. And so like the fact that I would have not realized there's a branch behind me, that's ridiculous. But I thought, well, maybe I don't. I looked behind and there wasn't one. And Brad's like, oh, I saw you look. And as Brad said, you accused me of it. I just like, this seems too unreal. Did you do this? And he's like, no. And I said it to Squatchman. I said to Squatchman, I said, I think I was just touched. And I explained it to me. And he just looks at me, goes, yeah, they like you. And to make matters,
Be a good thing or not.
and to make matters worse, because I took it as a compliment. I'm like, okay, they like my energy, whatever else. I go back and I tell Robert, who I rent the basement to, and I told him that. And I told him Squatchman says, yeah, they like you. And Robert's just like, oh, I don't know if it's that. I'm like, thanks. That was really kind. Thank you very much.
Wow.
You're evicted. So
Wow.
Accuse me of it.
and rightly so.
Brad can actually be accused of a lot of things.
Right.
Jill's wondering this is the one in Kentucky, right?
This is a location that and this is just, I'm respecting what I've been told is this is an area that they don't like to make public. Okay. So it was a location too. We went to Saturday night. Friday night we were in Fort Duffield in West Point, Kentucky. The next night we were somewhere else. According to Denise, southern Indiana. So I don't know where Indiana is, but that's where
okay.
we were.
That's That's adjacent to Illinois.
Illinois.
Don't even start, Jeremy. Do not even start.
Hey,
You know better.
So I got to pick up the slack. I got to do a little bit of what Brad already got that, and I also got to pick up a little bit for Eileen. You just now got that too. So
God damn it,
Southern Indiana.
Indiana.
See, you were supposed to put that up like 45 minutes ago when I first said it. And everyone's thinking, what the hell is he talking about? And you're just like farting around over there, for God's sake. This is supposed to be a teamwork, Jeremy, because I can't do it over here.
I have a hard enough time holding that up myself.
Is that to say with an accent?
Right?
Jill. Oh my God, no! Look what you did, Jeremy.
Hey,
look what you started.
I just call it Illinois. No way is what I call that.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That does sound okay to me.
more than okay, more like accurate.
Accurate.
Especially hard to drive through the Chicago area.
Well,
it's
of
hard,
course
yet
it is.
accurate. Illinois.
I like that. I like that. And in fact, I might even use that in a book.
Good.
Okay. Getting serious for a moment, if there ever was a moment like that. I would like to get back to Ghostbox Radio. First of all, how did the show itself start when you first started doing Ghostbox Radio? And then the second part is, how did it lead into doing 5 nights a week instead of just your Sunday afternoons?
I actually started Ghostbox Radio as Minnesota Ghostbox Radio back in 2015 on Live Paranormal. I don't know if you all know what Live Paranormal is. It's actually probably one of the first of the paranormal networks. It wasn't on Facebook, but we had to use technology that I don't think even exists anymore to do a radio program. And then I didn't like that because it was so intrusive. It was so hard and no one was helping me. I ended up going over to Para X and I did the show there for a couple years, doing it weekly, or actually by that point it was bi-weekly. I went over to KCOR in Las Vegas, which is a paranormal network and their digital radio. And during that period of time, I hooked up with somebody who was doing a show, and we called it After Hours AM, and it was like we were co-hosts, and that wasn't working out too well. So eventually, I saw that AM 950 does local programming, and I just wanted to know, is there room for me on their station to do a show? Because I wanted to do real radio. Not that there's anything unreal about what we're doing and whatnot, but having went to school a billion years ago to be in broadcasting, there was always that desire to do terrestrial radio. So they allowed me on right away. The show started doing really well for AM 950. It was a weekly show, and I'd done that for about 2 years. There was another show that was running Monday through Fridays at 10 p.m. It was a pre-recorded show, but from another station, but they decided to stop doing the show. And Chad, the owner, he said to me, and it was just really weird because that was a night that I was getting ready to do a special on a Saturday. I was doing a 2-hour special that I had like John Yost on there talking about UFOs. And it's just this like thing. I'm like, maybe once in a while I can do a special like this. And he just said to me, we have a show that's ending, and you have a background in broadcast. Would you want to learn how to run the board, the audio board, and run a show, but also host it at the same time? Because they didn't want to put the money into having a board operator because they just wanted to keep costs down. I just said, well, let's give it a shot. And then as we got closer to it, they came back to me after I was in training for it, and they said, well, we'll give you Adam as well 2 nights a week. And Adam, if you ever listen to my show, he's on Thursdays and Fridays, and he has a paranormal mind as well. He's very much into this. He's an intuitive, and so he's perfect for being a part of the show. And so he comes on every Thursday, Friday, and I don't see him as just a board operator. I see him as an integral part of the show. If he has questions, he'll come on, he'll ask questions, and he's really into all of this. So all this kind of has come together with the idea, because this is what Chad wants to do, is he wants to eventually expand the show to 2 hours a night. And then we're already looking at other stations to expand to. The point is to grow the show on radio, and being able to do that would be amazing. And when at first I was like, 5 nights a week, that means there's 20 slots a month to fill of guests. That's going to be very difficult. Now it's not easy, but it's more like, because I'm so far ahead with my guest plotting, that I'm just kind of like, well, I'm interested in this, so I'm going to go after this person to see if they want to talk about this. And I really want to get into topics like, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a 3-night special about what's called the Enfield Demon House. And I've talked to Jay before about it, and it's one of the scariest stories I've ever heard in my life. And we're gonna tell it 3 nights from 3 different perspectives. And it's like, I can really get in deep on the stuff. And like I've had luck. I've had like Gary Galka on the show. I've had this week alone, I've had Cindy Kaza on. I've had just a really good and last night Bishop Rita from Legion of Exorcists. I mean, so we've had some really people from the show, but also we've been bringing a lot of authors as well, because that's the stuff I really want to promote. And we're scaring the hell out of people. I get messages, I get emails from people listening to the show, and they're just like, some of the stuff you're playing freaks us out, and talking about the demonic stuff freaks people out, but yet they want to listen. And we're not trying to scare them away, but we're also trying to educate, just like we all are on all these programs.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Brad had a question here. He asking if there be any updated ratings since you started going 5 nights a week.
Absolutely. I mean, the listenership has the listenership went up substantially when I started going 5 nights a week. It has now doubled since even from the time I started July 10th to now. The podcast downloads have been huge for us. I can see, because I'm the one that puts the podcast together and upload them. I can see that through WordPress and through SoundCloud, everything is the green arrow. If you get my drift, everything is going up. It shows me, and when I say that, please know that that's not me trying to say like, oh, we're just amazing over here, but we're growing. That's the main thing. We're growing. We're reaching new people. I just got a message from Chad saying that he got a lot of emails over the last couple weeks of people just loving the program. So it's been fun. But I'll tell you both, the thing that one of the greatest moments of my time doing the nightly, we do this thing every Friday called Casual Friday. And what that is, we just kind of ease into the weekend. And we had 2 people call in, and each one talked about a paranormal or a UFO experience. And to me, that was like one of the greatest things ever, because that's what I wanted to really do, is get people to talk about their experiences and feel okay doing so. And they're not people like in our group, right? There are people that are in Minnesota who I don't know, or Wisconsin, and that means that I'm reaching people, and that's really fun. I love that part of it.
How far out does the airwaves go?
It goes out just a little past the Twin Cities in Minnesota. But you can, for those out there, we also stream the audio on am950radio.com. And then we also will have, obviously, we're on Things every night, Monday through Friday. And I try to, like, sometimes I have to pre-record. I don't have a choice. Like Cindy Kaza, I had to pre-record her. We're up to her schedule to get her. So still make a video and still like put it online and schedule it. So if people want to at least tune into Things and still have something running, And actually, we had video. We actually had real video of her and I talking back and forth that the Travel Channel was supposed to send to us, but they never had. So luckily, and that thank goodness I recorded it separately, because otherwise we wouldn't have had a show at all. So it was kind of a bummer, because I wanted to have that. I wanted people to see that Cindy Kays and I were talking, but it just didn't make it to us in time. But we still presented the interview. And then going back through my archives, I played a portion of a Steve DeShavi interview that I did in 2019, which, listening to that, I was like, oh, this really is pretty decent. I mean, he was in good form that night. So it was fun to be able to include all that too.
Do you think there is a possibility of going national with the show?
I would love that. I couldn't dare speculate on that, because that's so hard, right? And it's so hard to, I mean, I would love to, but I think even getting onto other stations is going to be, you know, that's an uphill battle. I mean, everyone who gets into this stuff, they like, look at Dave Schrader. It took him years and years and years to get where he's at. So it's just, you know, obviously it's like, yeah, it would be amazing. But what I try to do is just not think about that. Just think about having the great opportunities of some of these amazing guests. And you know, like I've had on, you know, we joke about Ernie, but Ernie, like, there are times that people don't show up or that they are unavailable, and Ernie had been very kind to say, if that happens, feel free to call on me, and if I can, I'll jump on at the last minute. So we do. I mean, it's great, and I need to have Ernie come on his own without being a backup, if you get my drift. Having, like, let's get you on the schedule so we can talk about all the cool things going on and have some good conversations, because he's been very kind with his time. There's been a couple times that he's been able just to be like, yeah, I'll help out. And he does so. And that makes it so much better than just Greg talking for 48 minutes. And sometimes that has to happen too. No one
Yeah,
else is.
I remember one of your Ghost Box live shows where somebody actually did complain about that. He has to talk for 20, 30 minutes to promote all of this and then do his thing, because
Oh, yeah.
one, he doesn't want to do the whole session over the full hour and a half show that he's got.
No. And I also it was also funny. I had, before I went nightly, I had this guy on who was a Disney expert, that he had the ghost of Walt Disney visit him, and that it's just ridiculous. And it's like, that's great. And I want to talk about haunted Disneyland. That's really cool. And I get him on, and I talked to him for weeks in advance. Like, this is a show that has commercial breaks because it's a commercial station. And so you're only going to have this amount of time to talk and stuff. And throughout the whole show, he wouldn't take a breath. Right. It'd be like he'd talking, and both Adam and I at one point are like, Michael, you know, just stop talking, you know, and because we're just trying to get a word in edgewise, because he just was like, and so
I had a guest like that on 13th Dimension a couple years ago. It was bad.
right. It's horrible, because you want to have a conversation. You don't want it just to be them, you know, otherwise, why am I even there? So we get to we do the 2 commercial breaks. We get to the last segment, and I'm like, and we brought our guest back, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, well, you know, I didn't realize there'd be so many commercial breaks in this program. Well, they're the station's bread and butter. So I just I warned him. And so I just said, well, thank you so much for being on today. We're going to move on to some other stuff. And then Adam just cut him off, and we just moved on to something else, because it was just like, nope. You're not going to do that. And, you know, don't be disrespectful. I will end our interview immediately. I have the ability to keep talking. So, I could just talk about anything. Don't think that you're going to put me in a bad place if you ditch me or whatever else. So, yeah.
I remember one of, it might have been the last time I had you on one of my shows on 13th Dimension. We went on for
that was the 6.5 hour one, wasn't it?
No, not that one. This one here was just me and him, and we were talking about nothing but Doctor Who.
Oh, right. That's right. I remember that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think we even brought up one paranormal topic. We talked about Doctor Who and nothing but.
Yeah, no, it was that was fun. And the fact that you and I could talk about Doctor Who and not, I mean, you didn't really know a lot about Doctor Who at all, but you
I
did
have never
research.
seen an episode. I still
Right.
have not seen an episode.
But that was the great thing about it. You were able to, you did some research, and that was another thing that really is frustrating when you get, I mean, Nick and Jeremy, you must kind of get this when you're guesting far more shows than I do. And if you get someone on who doesn't do even a cursory uh, a cursory sort of research into what you do. If someone just knows that I do a radio show, that's good enough. Or I like the Spirit Box. But when you get somebody else on who's just like who's interviewing you, and they're just clearly don't care what you do or have never seen what you do, and they're just like, so what's your favorite color? And you're just like, there's okay, green. But it's just like there's so much more to talk about. It really makes it difficult to have a good conversation. So the fact, Jeremy, that you took the due diligence, you took the time just to do some sort of research about Doctor Who, and you actually had questions about what you're reading. I remember that, like, well, what does this mean? I mean, I thought that was really cool.
Well, I had to because I didn't want to look like a complete idiot talking about. I had no idea. I wanted to at least be informed to some level, and then you take it the rest of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was cool, and it's fun to talk about Doctor Who. It's as we went on for hours, that it's one of my favorite programs, and it was just fun to talk about because I think there was a couple things that you asked about. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure why. I mean, it's like, and I'm not going to lie to anybody. It's like I'm not going to say I know everything about the show. I'm decent, but yeah, that was. And like Craig, I'm a huge fan of early Doctor Who shows. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, I'll watch the new series. I'm excited to see David Tennant return in November, but I mean, when I watch Doctor Who, it's from 1963 to 1989, but really 1963 to 1974. So yeah.
Wow. So you watch the original stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah, all about the original. I could, probably repeat it verbatim. If you've named an episode, I could probably just which no one wants.
One thing that really sticks out, there were multiple things that stuck out from that interview, but one thing that really stuck out that you had mentioned consistently with each new Doctor Who is that they kept saying something along the lines of, I'm not a redhead.
Oh yeah, I'm not a ginger. Yeah, I'm not a ginger. I'm still not a ginger.
Okay,
and that's just something that had started way back when Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. Oh, thank you so very much, and I appreciate you being on. Actually, to kind of go rogue here for a second, I thought we scared Joanne off one night because I started talking about a documentary that was about a subject that I don't think that she cared for, and it's a scary subject, so I get it. And she's just like, I'm out. In the comments, she's like, I'm out. I'm like, you're my only person that is in the chat room, but I'm glad she came back on Monday. So I was happy to see that. It's always good to see you, Joanne.
We need a super
I remember some of the lives that you had done. I think it was last year, where you were kind of touching on some really, really controversial stuff, but you were approaching it with a certain amount of respect that it needed in order to actually do it and try not having a lot of backlash hitting you. Because I knew that you were expecting backlash from it.
I was. And, when you don't get it, you wonder if you're doing it right or if you are, if just no one's paying attention. It's one of the two. But like, for example, tonight when I interview David Sloan talking about Robert the Doll, I'm going to do the 4 things that they expect you to do when they see you at the museum where Robert is. And I'm going to start off by introducing myself to Robert. I'm not going to be taking a picture, but I'm going to ask his permission before that, even, I'm going to introduce who I am. I'm going to say hi to Robert, introduce who I am. I'm going to not take a picture of him, but I'm going to say I'm going to talk about him, and it's not going to be salacious. I'm hoping that that is okay. And then at the end of the interview, I'm going to say good night to Robert. And those are the 4 things you need to do when you visit him in person. So I take it very seriously because he's the real deal as a haunted doll, as a doll that, you know, he's shown throughout the last 100 years that he needs respect, and I'm very willing to do that. And that's how I approach all this stuff, right? When we are, you know, trying to reach through spirit box controversial figures, it's not because I'm trying to like be interesting. I'm not trying to be a Steve Huff, but what I'm trying to do is I know I don't have a ton of people that watch me do this. I know that. So I feel like I can actually get away with it and be able to do it and do it on my terms, and also show like what we do as paranormal investigators. If we're doing it right, we do it with respect and not out of exploitation.
One thing I feel confident in saying is that whether you do or you don't have a huge following, the following that you do have is very loyal.
Yes, they are. I'm grateful for it. I don't, you know, I don't expect a big following. I just happy that some people are interested in what I'm doing, you know, and I don't know how you two feel about the way that you do, how you do you, I guess, but to me, it's about, this is my, like the show and Ghost Box Live, it's my little corner of the paranormal. You know, I'm not going to be somebody who is going to be guests at Paracons and stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sustain my appetite for the subjects that I really like, and I'm hoping that some people come along with me for the ride, and that we can be able to have these wonderful conversations. And that last night when we had on Bishop Rita, I didn't ask hardly any questions because the chat room was full of people with intelligent questions. And I think to myself, these are the people who like what I do, and it shows. I think I'm an intelligent person, and therefore it's not surprising that the people asking the questions are super intelligent. And I just basically handed the show over to them, and I was more than happy to do so. If that happens tonight, I'm going to do that tonight as well.
That's good.
That's great.
Really, one other thing about Robert the Doll. I had just heard this in the last, I think, about 3 years ago. And I don't know if there's any validity behind it, but I have been hearing over and over that Robert the Doll was actually used for inspiration for Child's Play.
Yes.
Oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's where it came from. I knew that already.
Yeah, I had only heard about it 3 years ago. So I don't know if there's really anything behind it or not.
I mean, it makes sense, and the stuff that that, like, I watched today. I watched the shock doc that came out. I don't know when it came out, but
I think it was a year ago. I think, or
yeah,
it was a year, 2 years ago. I've seen that shock doc as well.
and that was pretty intense. And Cindy Kaza was on that as well, and
Yes.
it was. I thought it was really good, but I thought the same thing. Is like, oh, that's just like Chucky. Or Chucky is just like that, I guess. That'd be a better way of putting it. So, but Chucky is obviously much more like blatant, right? That carrying knives and stabbing people. Where it, based on what we saw, Robert was just kind of moving, which is enough for me. I mean, quite frankly, that's enough for me to be like, whoa, okay. So yeah.
If I were to see a doll moving in any way, I'd be all over that thing trying to see if there's any animatronics behind it or
You
battery.
better, you
Yeah,
better look closely then for Lucy if she ever moves, Jeremy.
That's the long game right there. If she starts like moving now after you having her for so long,
Yeah.
and then she starts to finally move.
She
Good luck with that.
She is staying firmly. Remember that sectional couch that I've got in my living room?
Yeah.
She's right in the center of it. That's where she sits if she's not on the road with me, and she has never moved.
To your
And when
knowledge.
she always put herself back before I
That's
find
like
her.
what Greg said, to your knowledge.
Yeah, to your knowledge. I mean, that's
Yeah.
meanwhile, when you sleep at night, she's up there just watching you with her little glass bowl head staring at you. You know, that's
Maybe shaking her head, trying to wake me up or something.
I think she's just watching you, just staring.
I don't know. I'm not that interested to watch.
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. So,
Yeah.
well,
Now, Tom here has a good question, and
Oh yeah.
you may have. I'm pretty sure you're going to have some insight on this one. Is why are haunted dolls considered evil?
in my opinion, I think I think people put it that way because I think it's so unnatural that a doll would move around, but also, you look at like Christie's Charlie or look at your Lucy. They're not they're very worn, aren't they? They're very they've seen a lot in their life, and they're maybe a little dilapidated. And I think that in my opinion, that casts a long shadow for people to decide what's evil and not evil. It's everything's about look. When you get a dish at a restaurant, you make up your mind whether you like it or not based on what it looks like. When it comes out, you taste with your eyes. I think it's very similar with anything with paranormal, based on, if you go to a place that's all run down and creepy and they say it's haunted, your first thought may be that this place is going to be haunted with dark spirits or something because it's dark in there. I think something like the Raggedy Ann doll for the Warrens, what you have there is the Warrens telling us what has happened, and therefore that's where we believe that it's that doll is evil. That's my take, at least.
And you just happen to have her clone sitting right behind you.
Well, and as I was telling you before we started, that doll, because I'm part of the Warren Legacy Foundation, and I was helping them out on their live streams before the show became 5 nights. And once it became 5 nights, I had to cut back on a lot of things. But I got that because I wanted it for the backdrop, and I got that off of Etsy, and that's a vintage doll. And the moment I brought in the doll from outside that was delivered, it was February 24th. I just looked it up. Char Savoy sent me.
Birthday.
That's why I got it, because it was a birthday present for me on your birthday, if that makes sense.
What the hell? It should have been given to me.
You think about that, Nick. So as soon as I take the package from outside and bring it inside, I get a message from Char Savoy, and she's like, "Do you know a Dean? Dean?" And I'm like, "Not really, no." And I know one, but he's not dead or anything. And she's like, "Well, there's something just really became very important in your house named Dean." And I'm like, I just brought in this doll. And so, I mean, I look at her and I'm like, "Are you Dean?" And I get nothing. So, and we did a Ghost Box Live, I think back in March. And I had the Andres box set up, and I had her up there, and I was trying to get something from her through the box. I don't remember if we did or didn't. I don't really think we got a whole lot from her through that, if I remember correctly.
I'm still waiting on you to do a session with Lucy.
Yeah,
we should.
When is that going to happen?
I don't know, but I'll share with you what we could use. We could use this little guy, which is SB7 Pro, and I promised Gary that when I got it, that he's going to do a live with me, and we're going to do a session, and that's going to be really cool. I mean, Gary. I mean, I use spirit boxes, but I use the SB7 almost exclusively. And so being able to talk to Gary was for me a dream come true, because so much of what he has made has actually been my path for the paranormal. So having him on my show, first of all, was pretty amazing. I played some of my responses, which, another check on the list. But then he's like, once you get the SB7 Pro, he's like, "I'd love to see you do a live." And I'm like, "I would love to." And then he's like, "Actually, I would love it if I could be on it as well." And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, that's fine. So hopefully at some point we can do that, because that would be really cool. And I don't know if you heard any of the recordings that he has done with the Pro, but they're pretty amazing. The sweep rate, the fastest sweep rate for the SB7 is 100. This is 30. It's just zooming by. It's just ridiculous how fast it is. It's incredible.
Jeez.
And one thing I do want to point out, since we talked about this on the show as well, before the show as well, so that everybody in the audience and Nick can know that it's funny that Shaw would message you about the name Dean, because Lucy has a tiny little toy nameplate in her head with the name Dean on it.
That's
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
It really is.
Definitely.
Just a lot of things coming in circles in different ways.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of what we do, right? There's always synchronicities that are pretty amazing with what we do, and what doesn't make sense at the time, but then 3 years later, somebody says something, you're like, oh yeah, now I get it. It was meant for me to hear now, even though I got the hint all those months or years ago. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So tonight, you said that you're going to be doing the show from your home. Is this the first time you're doing it from home?
No, I do it. I do it from home once every couple weeks. The station is about 30 minutes away. It's not huge amounts, but it's if I really wanted to, I could run the whole show by myself through the station from my house. But it's not as much fun as being in the station. There's something about doing a radio show at a radio station where you have the board where you're running. I'm monitoring sound levels. I'm queuing up commercials. I'm doing all this stuff while I'm still hosting the show. I'm going through the chat. I'm trying to keep it all going, and I absolutely love that. And the stuff going just through the computer really limits what I do. But I mean, there's going to be a point that I think I'm going to end up doing it more from home because it just makes more sense. Right now, I'm currently, apart from the radio show, I'm unemployed. So if I get a job, it's going to be tough to come home from possibly an 8-hour day and then go back out at 9 p.m. at night to get to a station to do a show. So, I mean, something's going to give at some point.
Yeah, I can totally understand that, because when I was working, I was doing 12-hour days. Once I got home, that's where my ass stayed. It didn't go anywhere else.
And even doing a live from home, I mean, even though it's like it's just in the next room, it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't. But if the thing is, like here and on the station, if I don't do my show and on the station where it's all about ad revenue, if I don't do a show, it's going to be an hour of nothing on the air. So I got to do something. So.
But at least with the radio, you're doing something that's a passion.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, very much so. And I'm really surprised with how well it's going. And I don't mean that like I didn't expect it to go well, but it just has been, a lot of it has been so much fun. And the thing about radio, which I've been enjoying, is that it's live. Anything can happen. And one of the guests I had on, the gentleman who Donald, forget, I'm lapsing his last name, but he wrote the book about Roswell, and he came on and he was just like, I'm so happy that it's a live radio show, because he's like, he's always afraid if he's on something that they can edit and post something edited. I mean, the fact is, I could still do that. We put out a podcast, but I would never do that. You guys would never do that. I don't know really of anyone who would, but there is something about live that is just fantastic. And sometimes live is cool. Sometimes live is a nightmare when, something doesn't fire right and you're just like dead air or whatever else. Or sometimes I have a guest who, you'll be like, so what do you think of blah, blah, blah? And their response is good. And that's it. It's just like, come on, can bring it out. So, yeah.
I've actually had to do that a couple of times, do a little bit of editing on a live show. three times that I can think of. Two of them was to cut out something that was vulgar,
Yeah.
uh, something that somebody put in a comment and that person didn't read that comment before they clicked on it. She asked me, "Hey, can you take that off?" Because then she explained what it was. And what I did is, I went through there and I took that part out,
Hmm.
spliced it back together, and then re-uploaded it onto the YouTube channel. And then there was another one where, um, one of the hosts is being bullied at the end of the show. I went through and cut that out and re-uploaded that.
Yeah.
And then, just this week, I actually had Zach, Adrian's husband,
Hmm.
contact me about trying to do some editing on his Footprints Forward show for Monday, because he wanted to take the show and re-air it on at a later date. But because of StreamYard, they will only take up to 2 hours, and he had it at 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 15 seconds, and wanted to, if there's any way that I could speed it up. Well, what I did was is I went through that whole show and I started cutting out some dead air,
Yep.
where two of the guests that he had themselves on mute. So that took out a good chunk of time. And then I went through and found some spots where some of the guests, they were trying to explain something, then they were silent for a couple seconds, and then silence for a few more seconds. So I went through and cut all that out and knocked it down to 1 hour 59:55.
That's pretty cool. I had the situation, and this is, this is one of those things that you just sometimes forget what you have to do. When we start the show, when I'm at the station, I start the show, everything is being run through a computer. And over to my left, there's literally a key. And once you turn the key, that means everything starts running through your board. And so the thing is, you stop talking to your guests and everything, because that means you'd go on the air. As that key is turned, you're on the air. So I'm very cognizant of that. That's like, as soon as the show's over, I got to make sure I turn it off before it starts, make sure I turn it on. But what I sometimes forget about is StreamYard. So like one night I had a guest on and we turned off the key, and I'm like, okay, we're good, and we're out. And it was a very, very lively discussion. And there are some people that aren't, that the person wasn't too thrilled about, and we were kind of talking about that a little bit. And I look and I'm like, we're still live. We're still on StreamYard. StreamYard's still going. And it was like, and this person, my guest, was just like, you're kidding me. And so immediately I shut it off, and I didn't edit it. What I did is I just deleted the stream from everywhere. So the only way you can listen to it is as the audio, because that's not compromised. But yeah, that was like, you gotta watch what you're doing. I mean, I'm saying that to myself because there's so many small things to do. Because I'm starting turning the key. I'm doing the StreamYard. I'm setting a record in an Adobe Audition.
Did that happen on a Monday night?
I'm sorry, what?
That particular show, did that happen on a Monday night?
No, it did not.
Because there was one week when, because I download all the shows from Facebook and I re-upload them onto YouTube, and there was one night where I was looking for your show that I could have sworn you went live, but it wasn't there. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he didn't go live. Maybe I just thought he did.
Yeah, no, I try to be really good, and maybe there's been a couple that have not worked out, where I try to have some sort of visual presentation if it's a live show that I pre-upload or something. And like tomorrow's show will be pre-uploaded because I have plans tomorrow night. So Casual Friday is actually being recorded. Well, I think it's still going to be recorded on Friday, but it's just going to be after we're done with this show. After I get done with tonight's show with my guest, after that, then I will record Friday's show. So I'll be up till about 1 or so recording.
Technically, Friday my time when you do it.
Right. So it's Casual Friday somewhere.
Yeah.
And but it's going to be fun because it's just, I have a lot of listener responses to questions and feedback and stuff. So it's a lot of fun to do. But at the same time, it takes work because when I'm recording the video, I'm not using the audio from the video. I will take the podcast audio that I make from Audition, and I'll lay it over the video because it just sounds better and the music is mixed better. So, there's just a lot of small things. And as you know, Jeremy and Nick, you both being very creative or in these areas, nothing is short. Nothing takes little time. Everything takes longer than you expect, because you want it to be as good as possible. And even though it's something you've done 100 times, everything, I mean, I can imagine, Nick, when you're doing these stories and you're adding the sound effects to them, that takes time. Everything takes time.
And that's exactly what I've been doing right now. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys got the announcement. I just uploaded the first story of the Scary Stories tribute book that I'm working on right now. And even just one story alone, that took a lot of time to put together.
Absolutely. Because I'm sure too that people send you the recordings and you might still be editing them down a little bit to maybe add space or remove space or whatever you need to do, and then you're adding the sound effects. I mean, it's everything takes time, and selecting the right sound effects as well. That takes a lot of time.
I think it's really more than anything else because when I was working on, now that I'm working on story number 2, I'm already having a hard time finding the right kind of music.
Yeah.
Even though there's plenty of it, it's not even just the right kind. It's also the type, like if you have like a long story or something that you got to work on and you want to basically try to make, in this case, a scary story, like have it calm for the first half, you got to try to find the right duration of music too, so it could fit entirely. There are going to be plenty of music that could be great, but they could still be too short to add it to. So it's, it's definitely very time consuming. I can guarantee that's what's going to happen, when we get off after this. So it's going to take a while.
And making sure that it's copyright free.
It's always been copyright free that I've been getting, because they say that a lot on their YouTube channels. And even if, what I always do too is I always credit them. So that way I can let people know it's my recording, but it's not my music.
Right.
And speaking of copyright free, I remember for a stretch of time, Greg, you were having some headaches because you kept getting dinged on copyright hits.
Yeah, I did. The thing is when you're a radio station, they buy APM, all these music libraries, they buy the ability to be able to use music in 30-second chunks at the very least. We were fine with that. And putting it onto Facebook, they don't know that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So, first of all, I know, stay away from the Beatles, right? Stay away from the Beatles, and you don't want to even touch it. Even if you have permission, don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Definitely stay away from Prince, because they will nail you.
From who?
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah. Oh, Prince. Yeah, Prince.
Yeah. And we did a couple that I thought would be fine, because you kind of think, well, who's not really that popular but would still be good? No, that's when you're wrong. And so I would have the music. It'd go from my theme music. What's that?
Throw my song in there. You won't get a copyright hit.
Well, and now every Friday I end with a song that's copyrighted. But I mean, I think to myself, I talk over it for the most part, and my thought on it is, it's at the end of the show. It's Todd Rundgren, "Bang the Drum All Day," because
that's a good song.
It's a great Friday end of the week, because the whole point of the Friday shows, Monday through Thursday, for the most part, they're pretty serious. There's serious topics. Friday, it's all about just, hey, let's just have some fun. Let's get some listeners in to talk about what's going on with them. Let's read some stuff, maybe some stories we found, and we're just going to ease into the weekend here. So that's why, and there used to be a radio station in town here, one of those like pop stations back in the 80s, WLOL. And they would, every Friday when they were signing off the morning show, they would play that Bang Your Drum All Day song. And I'm like, that's a nice little sort of tribute to that, because that's one of those things that we all have that we remember, and it carves our own creativity years down the road.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It really is.
Real quick on the stories, I didn't realize mine was going to be a poem.
I should have told you. Yeah, it is a poem.
It is, because I can play with that.
I should. Well, that's, guess what? That explains why I told you that yours was the shortest one out of all the others.
I did find that two of the others were poems as well. So
Yeah, they do that. They do that sometimes in the books.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, and Greg, I actually just told Jeremy this. It's kind of funny with the story that he chose from this book this time. I had to address to Jeremy saying, it's funny, last year you were at the very beginning and now you're at the very end. And I told him, well, next time and I said, well, next time you're going to have to try to you're going to have to be right in the center, everywhere in between them.
I'm worried about that. I figured since I let it off the first time, I might as well close it the next time. Anyway, beyond that, it really doesn't matter.
I didn't even think of what, like, when you first mentioned it, Greg. WLOL.
Right? Isn't that something? Yeah.
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 But LOL didn't exist, I guess, back in the 80s.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And that was where I first heard the song Ghostbusters. And it was 1984. It became my favorite song. And I kept calling them to request it. And they finally said to me, stop calling. It's a popular song. We will play it. Don't worry. You'll play it at least once every half hour. Stop calling. You don't need to call us anymore. All right.
The funny thing about that song is that it is so simplistic in its brilliance.
Yeah.
I have it as the ringtone on my phone, believe it or not.
And Brad, the last story that I sent you did have a definitive ending. You need to read it.
I thought he meant story as in your life. And I thought, boy, that's pretty grim. Brad's really in for the dig tonight. At least his as a story ends. His stories ends, unlike yours, Jeremy. Your story
Yeah. Sometimes he can be a little more ruthless when Adrian's on here. So he's being on good behavior tonight, and I don't know why, because I didn't warn him or anything. So
I just think it's very funny that every time I come on the show, both of them seem to be unavailable. So that.
Jill thinks that's a cute story that you talked about when you requested. Stop requesting every half hour.
It was like knock it off. Well, and I was like 10-year-old. So yeah, I was just all about. I mean, once you say that and you put the math together, then you're like, oh wow, you're getting old, my friend. So
jeez. Be right back, guys.
I don't think Nick is okay.
I'm just watching. It's like he has like an invisible cloak he's putting over it. That's how. Look at it. It's like wow. It's like Harry Potter over there.
No, it's just the green screen. I just had to get up for a sec. I'll be right back.
He has CIA technology that he's.
He doesn't learn. He doesn't know how to get himself a good background to where he doesn't have to have a virtual background.
He doesn't. Well, even not a background. No offense, Nick. You need lighting.
I do have light. Look how bright I'm at right now.
Well, that's my point.
Pasty white.
Yeah. So how can I need more light? How can I get better than that?
How about better lighting? Or a better lighting?
Yeah. Problem is, he's always in black and white. That's the issue.
That's just. No, that's actually how I look like, believe it or not.
He actually lives in WandaVision, so.
He's living in a world of black and white when he needs to be in living color like the rest of us.
Right.
He likes to glow. What's up, Mickey?
Oh, he glows all right.
I am always just glowing with radiation.
Well, when you landed in Roswell, of course, that's what's going to happen. So.
I know you've already talked about it earlier on the show, but you must have missed it. But she's asking you about what's the story with the Raggedy Ann sitting behind you.
Oh, just real fast. I do stuff with the Warren Legacy Foundation. I'm an investigator with them, and I have done live streams with them. The last few months, I say this, but I really haven't been active because there's been so much in my personal life going on. Part of it being the 5 nights a week radio show has kind of put a change into everything I do. But when I was starting to do the live streams, I moved into this room to do my shows, and I thought this would be a good background because with the Warren stuff, it's a reel-to-reel tape player right there, which I love.
Notice that.
Yeah. And I have a bunch of them, and one I take on me with investigations on occasion. And then I just figured that she should be part of it. I know that she's kind of a cliche, but I just think that, I just think it's a cool thing to have. And, I interviewed Joe Frankie, who actually is investigated with the Warrens since '84 or something like that. And he had one in his background too. So I'm in good company, I think. Yeah.
I'm feeling left out. You have Raggedy Ann. Nick has zero sitting behind me, and all I got is all these CDs sitting behind.
Hey, I'm all about the media. I'm all about the media, Jeremy.
I know you are.
So I mean, I do a video series for the Doctor Who stuff from the archive brand called Doctor Who on BBC Video. And when I do those, I do it in front of my shelving of the vintage collection of Doctor Who videotapes, the VHS tapes. So you and we're in good company with that too. I mean, I'm on the same vibe as you are.
Yeah, you got to see the massive collection that I have, and then turns out you have an even bigger collection.
We all love our media, don't we? I mean, since I've been unemployed, that has gone down dramatically, and that's good. I mean, I have a lot of stuff, and I've been slowly backing them up to hard drives. So it's what keeps me happy. Jeremy, right? It's what keeps us happy. We enjoy it. We like and stuff that's streaming and suddenly it's no longer streaming. I have the physical media as well. So
yeah, maybe what I'll do is next time we have you on the show, because now that I know that Raggedy Ann's going to be back there, we got Zero back there behind Nick. Is maybe I'll take Lucy and try to do like a Where's Waldo kind of thing.
Yeah, you should. You should. And then when you try to tell us where she is and she's not there, then you could be freaked out too. So
all right, what are you guys laughing at now?
That would be pretty funny.
Like, she's right. Wait, where is she? That'd be amazing. That would be, just do it anyway. Just do it that way anyway, so that people think that you're actually like, and then freak out. I mean, freak the F out when that, like, just make a big deal out of it. I think it would be amazing. You might make paranormal caught on camera. They don't care if it's real or not. So you'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, I think we've already established that a long time ago when they first started airing that show.
I mean, it'd be great to listen to Brian Cano. Well, the reason why that she's not there anymore is because she's a time machine. It's just...
I have never seen anything with him in it. I've heard a lot about him, but I have never seen anything with him in it.
Like, you've never watched Paranormal Caught on Camera, then?
Honestly,
which is fine. You're not missing anything, so you're fine there. The very first night, the very first episode, they had these lights in the sky in Prior Lake, Minnesota, and the people are pointing. It's UFOs. It's UFOs. No, they're lights from a casino called Mystic Lake, and any minor research could have told them that, but they didn't do that. They decided just to have all these people, Susan Slaughter and Brian Cano and all of them going, well, it could be from such and such planet and blah blah blah, and it's just like, yeah, you guys are horrible. So quite frankly, I don't think Susan Slaughter's watching us tonight, so I feel okay saying that. So
thanks for noticing.
But if she were, gentlemen, she'd have her name and her sub would be Paranormal Expert, because that's how she calls herself. So,
oh God, oh jeez.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to say it. Yes, I do. I do have a TV on. It's on mute. I just like to have something on in the background at all times with me. So yeah, I do have a TV on.
Jill had this question too. What's the story of Raggedy Ann with you just wondering?
We just covered that while you were gone.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind then.
And you were don't lie. You were there the whole time with the invisible cloak on you, just seeing if we would talk about you. It's so obvious.
Paranormal belief.
Okay, then.
You don't want to believe everything. Trust me on that one.
There's someone walking down the hallway, Jeremy.
It's probably Lucy.
Yeah, that's one way to freak you out. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, I keep
well,
hearing
now you got
knocking.
to that you know what you're gonna have to do now, right, Jeremy? Now you got to get that added onto Paranormal Caught on Camera. We probably would be the first time ever we'd be doing a podcast and we captured something while we were on a show.
Nah, I'm not even worried about that. I would rather not have my name associated to that under any circumstance. Hi, Eileen.
I will.
Eileen,
Yeah, it's nice.
Just got
where's that
home.
Raggedy Andy though? She's lonely.
Well,
Did the inspection go well?
that's a good question. Where's Andy? Because Andy's never been scary. So maybe that's why. I'll tell you one thing. Last week we had on Miranda Young, and she did it. She did the show from
Miranda.
the Scott County Jail, and while she's talking, it sounded like there's somebody humming when she's talking in the first segment. And I brought on Adam, and I'm like, Adam, bring you on. Did you hear something every time that Miranda spoke? And he's like, yeah, I just thought it was like something on your end. It's like, no, it wasn't me. And Miranda was going to take a listen. I mean, obviously I could too. I don't know, maybe it was nothing at all, but it was like when she's talking about spirits like making noises and stuff, that's when we were hearing it. So it was really interesting. I'm not saying it was truly something paranormal, but it was interesting that when she was talking about it, something was happening. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Let's get some actual stuff happening on the radio show. I'm down for it. Why not?
That would be pretty cool. And you just mentioned
He is.
on a very recent episode that there is something going on at the radio station.
There is something happening over there. And I do wonder to some extent it's because we're doing the show 5 nights a week because we're talking about it so much. We're talking about all these concepts, but Adam will go in there, and I think that it's very possible that he is some kind of sensitive because it happens a lot when he's there, and it's not happening when I'm there, and Adam's not going to be making stuff up. So you just know. But I was there the night that we had on Ernie, and I generally try to forget those nights, but this happened, so I'm going to remember it. When I walked in, there was this smell of perfume, which the station does not really smell good all that often. So you're just like, what's going on here? And they go down the stairs, and there's a landing, and then there's another set of stairs that go down. On that square landing, very, very, very strong perfume. And I go down to the studio, which is in the basement, and I thought, well, I'm just going to see if it's still there. And I have maybe in the studio for 5 minutes. I come back up, completely gone. Not like, oh, it's dissipated. It's completely gone. So it was very interesting. And Ernie said to me, well, who do you think it is? And we all know that we should think about maybe whatever our first instinct is might be the right one. And I immediately said, I think it's my mom. Actually, that's what just came to me. So was it her? I don't know, but it was really interesting, and I loved that kind of stuff. His stuff was more like lights turning on and off, and like kind of shadow figure-y sort of stuff going on there. So he keeps forgetting. He got a lot of equipment from Brad. I think he keeps forgetting to bring it in, and maybe tonight he will. But if we're talking about Robert the Doll, I don't bring in the equipment tonight. Just don't bring that energy in. Don't think about it. Don't try to bring forth anything, because I actually kind of feel like this is a dangerous conversation to have tonight. I'm not exactly. When I started thinking about it more, I'm starting to wonder, is this something that we should be talking about? But we will. So that's where I was at with that. And so long story short, yeah, there's stuff happening in the station.
Well, the whole thing about Robert the Doll, what would really be what I think would really help your show out is if Robert could move on his own.
Yeah.
That would get attention.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, that would get, you're right though. I mean, paranormal caught on camera, here we come. But I just you know, the talking about how through the stories we're hearing that he likes to cause people a lot of trouble if you don't respect him. That's scary to me. I don't like that. So and listening to David talk about when he wrote the book, and he may not have been taking some parts of it serious enough, or he didn't really know, but he was also traumatized by Robert. It's just like, just talking about him, is that enough? You know, we all know that is something, you know, when we go in and do private investigations, we tell people don't talk about it. Is this one of those situations that we really shouldn't be? But, you know, obviously at the same time, when I said that we're going to have David on talking about Robert the doll, a lot of people sent me notes like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to hear more about it. So, I mean, obviously people want to hear it.
Speaking of dolls, Nikki was wondering if you have a favorite doll.
Do I?
No, Nikki is wondering if he has a favorite.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said me at first. Oh, Eileen's on.
I think
didn't
all
even
of
see that her first.
You just now noticing that Eileen's here?
I had to open a different window for a minute or so because I
She
was
only
saving
takes
a
up
document.
the quarter of the screen.
Okay, how many tabs do you have open, Nick?
Pretty much pretty much the same.
Do you have your
you're lagging so much on your computer?
Is your invisible cloak covering your eyes? Is that why you didn't see it?
Not exactly. And Eileen apparently is muted, as Brad said.
I was muted. My husband walked in the door, so I had I muted so that y'all wouldn't hear him shuffling around while Greg was talking. I was being nice to Greg. Very rarely am I nice to anyone.
Well,
that's true.
Well, Jill apparently says you're a doll to her, so she's your favorite.
There you
go. Does he have red hair?
I love
so I'm out, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to come in here and start a fight now.
You missed out on your chance of talking to the Todd, by the way.
No, trust me, I never miss talking to Todd.
It's like, are you okay? Feeling okay? Eileen? You're being nice. You must be sick.
Well, I haven't talked to Greg. We actually just became friends back on Facebook on my new account because I'm still trying to get everybody over to the new account. So I've missed Greg for a while, so I hadn't talked to him in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. It really has been a while. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm a big fan of Brad Webb, but it's also really easy to be dishing it out, hundreds of miles away, isn't it? So I remember I've seen her at Fear Fest, steal stuff like Nick's cup. I remember that.
I got my own cup finally, Greg. I got my own cup finally. My para partner Shelby sent me a cup.
Still
but
right?
I was nice to you at Fear Fest. Just not the other two on the screen.
You sure as hell were nice to me and Jeremy.
No, her being nice to everybody is grabbing their ass.
I mean, you were nice to me, not that nice, but you're nice to me.
Here you go, Greg, just for you.
Right, exactly. That's a virtual right there.
Turn around. Turn around.
That's just going to get for you right now.
You got to do it and grab too. So
hopefully I don't pay for this later.
Now, what surprised me is you say you use that reel-to-reel on investigation. So as old as that thing is, I'm surprised it still works.
This was my dad's. I have a smaller one that I bring on investigations. I have two this size. One was mine that he gave me when I was in high school, and then he had this one for since the 60s. And that was kind of what cemented my love for having these type of pieces of equipment well before I got into the paranormal. You saw it, Jeremy, the other day. I posted that 4-track or 4-channel mixer. That was all the stuff like, who needs that when you're not really into the professional audio side of things? But I just loved it. So yeah, I collected all that crap.
I just couldn't believe how brand new that thing looked.
Which is odd because I really haven't like kept it in like in a box or anything. It just kind of gets thrown around and stuff. So it just goes to show Radio Shack made good equipment back in the day, really made some really sturdy stuff, and now they're gone. Maybe they bankrupt because they made the stuff too good. That could be.
I miss Radio Shack, and what was the other computer place that I used to get all my stuff from?
Circuit City.
Thank you. I miss those two places.
Around, isn't it?
What's that?
Circuit City is still around, isn't it?
Oh, and well, they only went out of business not too long ago. I think it was like 15 years ago. So I can understand you not picking that up. So
it couldn't, because I could have sworn that we had a Circuit City here in Fort Wayne.
You might have a city circuit, but not a Circuit City.
I think because I've been to where you live, the area, it's kind of traveling back in time. So I think that might be what it really
does. It does feel like that sometimes.
I remember stopping at the Woolworth there and eating at their their countertop service diners. So yeah, I think
he still has the TGNY, and what was that? The toy store, Toys R Us. They still have all those. They still have those there.
That one just came back because I went to the Fort Wayne Mall here over the weekend, and Toys R Us doesn't have its own store, but it did have its own little department section inside of Macy's.
Now, Jeremy, I just want to apologize. It didn't go out of business 15 years ago. Okay, I'm sorry. It was 14 years ago. 14. So. But here's what I didn't know. It was founded in 1949. I would have never thought that.
You just Googled it, didn't you, Greg?
It certainly didn't come off the top of my head. I know a lot of stupid stuff, but that's even way too meta even for me. So
I can see you reading that as you were saying.
Oh, yeah, no. No, absolutely not.
Oh, now me and Hollywood Video, Jill, we fought because they tried to charge me $400 for not returning 4 movies. And I'm sorry, it's not $100 a movie. And I did return them. And I had to wait for it to drop off my credit because I refused to pay them.
Wow.
That's a lot. I mean, and back then, some titles, they were $100 when they came out because they call it like price to rent. And
one of them was Legally Blonde too. I said, look, I will go to the Walmart and pick you up a DVD and turn it into you to rent out.
Yeah, that's not even worth 100 cents, let alone $100. So,
well, now I know basically if I ever happen to sell and rent movies out, now I don't know who. Now I know who I don't have to rent them to because they would take forever.
I could probably rent out all my DVDs.
You probably could. You got a full library. That could become a video store if you wanted to.
I'll tell you, Jeremy, when people want to borrow something from my collection, I make a clone of it and give them that. I mean, like, you're not going, I'll never see it again. I know you people. I know you. Because I was the same way. So.
That's the smart
Greg, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Oh, man.
You don't think I jumped out to be truly just nice, right?
I knew it.
So, all this traveling you've done.
Yeah.
Or was doing. Like I said, I lost contact for a minute. I haven't heard of anything about Mississippi yet. Oh.
Well, funny enough, that was next on the list, as you could imagine. But then I lost my job, and I don't have a job currently apart from the radio show, which doesn't really pay at the moment. So not yet. But tell me,
Adrian.
Oh my gosh, Adrian, I just got on too.
I'll tell you what. This shit's for the birds. No.
Yeah, you both were like 20 minutes of Greg is better than 2 hours of Greg. I know.
Oh no. Greg would have been much better than 12 hours of work.
Yeah, let's bring back blockbusters, Joe.
I was replacing air filters all day, and I was covered in dust.
Ugh.
And
That could not have
people's
been fun.
skin and
We're not
everything
even
that's
thinking
in
about
those
all that.
filters.
We're just going with dust. Okay.
Brad.
And don't worry, Adrian, though I'm sure you want to go ahead and get it out of the way, but I did give Brad his deathly threat.
Oh, Brad.
Yep.
And Eileen, I did the whole Illinois thing.
Shut up.
Oh, thank
Shut
you.
up.
Thank you.
Since the two of you weren't here, I had to make sure I did pick up some of the slack for you two.
We were here in spirit then.
Standards had to be kept.
And of course, I just had to jump on and just yell at Greg for, no excuses. I'm sorry. Teleport. I don't care.
Well, where in Mississippi should I be going?
Central. And then we'll
Is
drive
that
to
the name of a
Central.
city? I mean, what the hell? Just go to Central Mississippi. Can someone
Central
help me?
Mississippi. That's Eileen City.
I am right outside of Jackson, but you never want to stop in Jackson. If you ever drive through, do not stop in Jackson.
So go to your state, but don't go to most of the cities. Okay. No, I'm tracking.
Just stay out of Hines County. Don't stop for gas. Keep going. You're good.
All right. Should I bring like containers of gasoline with me?
Put it this way. If anyone wants to know what all we deal with in Jackson, if you've got Amazon Prime, we have there's a video on there called Prime Time. And what it's about is Deion Sanders. He came to coach at our one of our historical black colleges here. He lasted 2 years before he left to go to another college. And it talks about all the issues just that he had during his 2 years being there.
That's awful.
Which I loved it because that meant like Snoop Dogg came in more. Master P came in, all the old school stuff came in when Deion Sanders was in. Every time I ever met Deion, he was cool. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to Mississippi. I didn't know that you wanted us to come out that way.
We talked about this before, but no, never mind.
See,
I don't remember that at all, quite frankly.
Here's the thing. Let's just be honest here. Eileen only wants you to come down just so she could finally have that chance to grab your ass.
There we go. Adrian, Greg said I didn't do it to him. Maybe because that was the first time we met, talked, anything.
You had no problem doing it to me the first time.
We had talked.
My God. Jeremy.
It's amazing how a show runs off the rails so incredibly quickly. It's just like Guinness Book of World Records quickly,
I came on mute, so
I mean, Jeremy's not even trying anymore. It's just like it looks like he's even further away from the camera now. Can you still even hear us, Jeremy? I mean, what's going on down there?
That's what we said to him when he put the camera up here at first. It's like,
right. I mean, it's like, is that camera on the moon? I mean, what? Jeez.
Well, I did have it lower before. Then it was like right in my face, and I did not like that. I'd rather have it a little higher up.
Oh, Jeremy, I need to tell you. So, baby girl here went in for her testing.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, it's all the way up.
That is a great.
There we go.
But she went in for her testing day. She has a seizure, so she went in for her testing day. Her numbers were not good, so they're gonna test her, I think, next week for diabetes.
Oh.
How old is she?
At least we were able to get one cat on this.
About 9.
Okay.
Still not that old.
He found us.
Because I was telling them earlier in the show that I have the door shut, so Linus can't get in here.
No, you got no. You let them in all the time.
Well, no, not at the moment. No, but he probably is going to dig his way through. But Linus is 14 now. He's
Wow.
he's an old little boy. So just always.
All of our pets make appearances, so no, you got to let them in to make appearances.
Yeah, it's fine for the ghost box stuff. I didn't want to. Once he's in here, it's pandemonium. He's a massive troublemaker. Really bad.
Jill's requesting some Linus time.
I don't know if he's outside the door.
See,
and he's not because he doesn't care. We had a fight today, so he's probably angry. So
oh, you might get the other one. Hold on, Jimmy. Keep going. Come here. Go. The other one heard talk. Come here.
Oh,
come here, baby. Okay. Well, never mind. He's not coming.
He's in spirit, so to speak.
He's waiting to trip
off camera
trip you down the stairs.
No, that's not. I mean, that was today. I mean, that's every morning.
This one fights me a little bit more. Okay. There you go. There's Loki.
I would not be fighting with a cat with nails. I don't think so.
Oh, he knows who rules, don't you? Don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, cats do. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Man, I wish my cats were like that.
You don't own a cat; they own you.
Oh yeah, they do. It's funny. My dad once said a long time ago, like I think it was when you have a dog, basically, and you give them like treats and stuff like that. They think that they're doing a great job, like knowing that you own them. But if it's cats, though, they think you're. I think they think we're. I think my dad said they're the boss and you're just serving them.
They are different. They have a different way of thinking. They are different animals, and I can see why Egyptians worshipped them when they did, because they weren't like the other animals that just went, okay, whatever. Not that I'm about to worship a damn cat, because the cat here is going to get his butt kicked before it's over.
Poor Greg. He's just sitting there like.
No, I was just I was just reading some stuff. No, I was, because with Linus, but the thing is like the cats kind of command respect. There's something about the way that they present themselves, and they're not. I don't know about all of you who have cats, but all those memes and stuff about cats being like indifferent and stuff. Looking at yours, Eileen, just now, they clearly love snuggling, they love being around you. Mine do as well. It's that all that stuff, like they don't like being around us. That's just people who don't know how to take care of cats, in my opinion.
My poor husband. Now I've got one cat that you'll very seldom see, Sierra. She's kind of skittish, but we call my second youngest son her daddy. I don't know how that relationship happened, but my other son basically lives at my other house, taking care of the dog, and he'll come home on the weekends. That cat will sit at the door that goes downstairs and meow nonstop until he lets her downstairs. Oh. But now at night when he's not here, my husband, he'll sleep. Obviously, he sleeps beside me, but the gray cat you saw will sleep right here on his chest. The black one you just saw will sleep at in the curve of his knees, and then the Sierra will sleep at his feet. So he is surrounded by cats.
Well, and I saw that Linda is like, I need a Linus backdrop. And well, how about this, Linda? Once Linus passes, I'll get him stuffed and I'll put him where Raggedy Ann is. And so he'll always be in every shot going forward for the rest of my time doing these.
I don't know about that.
It's like, what the hell happened here? You all could be weird. I could be weird too. So,
how about putting a REM pod or a ghost box in him?
Oh, don't
become Boo Bear, Boo Cat, whatever.
No, that's messed up. Only if I can take it out once in a while. Yeah.
Okay, Bates Motel.
Right.
We got REM pods and everything else. So there's your next market, ladies and gentlemen. Cats.
Calling Brad Webb. Calling Brad Webb. Let's stick a REM pod up a cat's bum and see what happens.
We stick it up teddy bears' bums. Why not?
No.
Okay, let's get back to Ghost Box Radio.
What's wrong, Jeremy? What's wrong? Tell us what's wrong.
What's on your mind? What's
you
on
had
your mind?
almost 2 hours without us.
You had mentioned that you've already got guests lined up for the next couple of months. You said, right?
I have them through part of October, and when you're looking at 5 nights a week, I don't think that's too bad. You know, I had somebody who does an online show, and she was just like really excited. She's like, I have guests all the way through January, and I'm like, I have them all the way through September, but I'm doing 5 nights a week, so it's pretty impressive, I think, to be able to get that many people that I think are interesting lined up. But I started in June. Actually, end of May, I started getting people because I knew that if it could be hard to get guests if first of all we are 10 p.m. at night. If you're getting someone from the East Coast, it's 11, and it's sometimes really hard. The station actually wanted me to do the show at 11 Central Time every night, and I said I can't do that. That's ridiculous. So we ended up at 10. So I mean, it's just sometimes hard to get guests because they don't want to do it so late. And some will do pre-record, which is fine, but I want to do a live show as well. So I want to keep the pre-records to an absolute minimum.
And plus, it's pretty late for you anyway, especially if it's 5 nights a week.
I fall asleep during, like around 10:30. I doze off. Adam will take over at that point. So yeah, it's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
I would love to see that. Seeing you fall asleep doing an interview.
You all know what it's like interviewing people and doing the shows and stuff, that once you get into it, that wakes you up. That's what kind of, gets you going. And once you get people like tonight, there's so many wonderful people in the chat. I mean, I don't know if Ernie's still in there because we're not counting that.
Okay, well, Ernie would not be good people. I see Denise is here. Denise is good people.
Denise is good people. Ernie is
not so much.
Ernie is somebody who lives on the planet Earth. Let's just leave it at that.
Is that where he lives, or I thought he was a different one? I have not picked on Ernie in a hot minute. Denise, I need a message, Ernie.
Yeah, we were having a good time with that earlier.
We were.
It was fun. You should have been there, Eileen.
Showing off Great's photography skills when he had Ernie on one of his shows last week or 2 weeks ago.
The likeness was uncanny.
I don't think Ernie's ever looked better.
Well, people want to know what he looks
picture. Like. You should show that to Eileen, Greg, because I don't know if she's ever seen that image.
Well, people always want to know what Ernie looks like without a hat. And we found a picture of him without a hat that I used to promote his appearance on my show. So I don't think he's ever looked better. So
boy, does he look 10 years younger.
Not a wrinkle on him. So
but
for fairness, right?
Well, you know that Denise is going to come down here, and we're going to go to the jungle.
That picture is terrifying because I had to leave my office for about a minute, and when I came back, there was this picture of him. Scared the hell out of me.
It probably wouldn't be as scary if he did not add the eyeliner. If it wasn't for the eyeliner, it wouldn't be too bad.
Well, the problem with all that, it imitates the photo of Ernie that he sent me, and it's a real photo, and he's wearing eyeliner. So you tell me what's weirder.
Well,
and you know what I'm talking about.
With that,
I could just basically
that was put on shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Greg, I don't know if you heard, but Denise is going to come to Mississippi, and we're going to go to this exotic pet store called the Jungle, and we're going to go buy her a monkey to take back to Ernie.
Oh, jeez.
Well, at least some people are invited to Mississippi, right? So
you're disinvited. So
the state of Mississippi does not want you there. So yeah, I'm disinvited. That would be amazing. Bring
invited.
back the monkey.
So going back to the amount of guests that you have, what are some of the more interesting guests that we can expect over the next few weeks?
Let me see here. Let me go to my spreadsheet. So I'm going to have Sherilyn Carter on. We're going to talk about her book, Chosen. We're going to have Robert Robinson on. We're going to be playing audio files of Bigfoot recordings and seeing if we could figure out what's actually being said. At one point, we're going to have Jennifer Lee on doing one-question readings. We're going to have Miriam Fresh also on doing one-question readings, doing Enfield's Demon House.
Long time.
Yeah. So, and that's just September. We're going to have Rob Guttrow on. And we're also going to have Daryl Marston on. He was supposed to be on the 5th, and I somehow made a big mistake, and I put Cindy Kaza on instead. And I just kind of ignored Daryl, and that just feels really bad. It wasn't until today that I'm like, when is Daryl going to be on? Because we're going to give away a copy of his book and stuff. I'm like, oh, he's supposed to be on the 5th. Okay, well done, Greg. And that's why I call it amateur AM sometimes, because when I make huge mistakes like that's how that works.
Are you the only one who is actively going after guests for the show, or do you have somebody helping you out on that?
I'm the one that definitely goes after the guests, but people like Adam, he will send me, he'll be like, this could be a good guest. This could be a good guest. Sometimes he'll reach out to them via Twitter. And I have other people, like I will ask people all the time, who do you want to see on the show? Because, and I'm going to be honest. I mean, sometimes I just want to make sure, because like on so many shows, you get a lot of the same people on, like within network and stuff. And I've been really just trying hard to do something a little bit like going after people that we don't see very often, just because bringing new people into the fold, so to speak. And also, I wanted to try to get some of the people from the shows on, because it promotes on the radio side, because we have all those listeners that it promotes, and for people as well. And for people like Miranda, bringing her on, talking about the jail, I'm introducing her to thousands of people on the radio side who love the paranormal, but they don't know about the deeper layers of other places to go. Like if someone's like, I'm going to Huntsville, Tennessee, and next thing you know is like, oh, I heard about this place. There's a jail there. It's haunted. I've always wanted to experience that. That's what I want to try to do.
Well, I would definitely love to have you get Sandy Boyd on your show. She is the president of the society who runs the Crown Point Jail.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
In Indiana. She would be a great guest for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's one thing I really want to do is I want to promote the locations. Mm-hmm. Especially the ones that aren't the famous ones. I'd love to have Johnny Hauser come on and talk about Villisca, but I also really want to have, Angie come on and talk about the Bell Mansion. There's all these other wonderful places that people may not know about, but maybe we make a difference with maybe one person listening and being like, oh, I'm going out there. I want to go check out the Baraboo Inn, or something like that. So, that's something that I like for the show.
Have you ever had Dan and Connie on with Old Park Hotel?
No, I have not yet, at least.
Have you ever been to Old Park Hotel?
No, I have not.
Ooh, yeah, you need to go to Old Park Hotel. Me and Adrian are like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Another person who would benefit from it, if you're able to get her, would be Jennifer from the Temple.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, it's one of, I've had many good experiences there. Some not so good, but we definitely would have her on. Is she still there? I wasn't sure if she was still there or not.
Yeah, she is. I talked to her.
Okay, cool. Because I'd like to do an event there. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to do that too. Not an event. I think we're going to do what we did here in Colorado is get, whoever wants to go, let's go.
Yeah, that's cool.
And just everybody, and of course, we'll be a little picky about who goes.
Yeah.
But
you have to be though, and it's not.
Found that out the hard way.
Yeah, it's not rude. It's just you have to be.
Yeah.
Well, for the event that we did
amazing
last month, it was a great event.
It was amazing. Just all of us there, and quite a few we didn't know. Two of them just wanted to experience it. They had never been there, and it was like a girl's getaway for them, which was okay. Except we had to kind of we don't drink on events. Let's go sober up. Let's
You drink after the events, not before them.
Yeah, but they had no clue. Etiquette, they didn't know. They didn't do anything wrong intentionally. They just didn't know.
Right. No.
And the other family, or the other mother and daughter that came, matter of fact, Jeremy, they're coming this weekend with their husbands, 8 of them coming to stay this weekend.
That's cool. That's really cool. Oh, wow.
It is. It's nice to get to know new family.
It is. And we did an event a couple weeks back, and as you all know, because you've experienced, you just said it, these people become your new friends, and they start supporting, and it just becomes really something special. Yeah, it's the best part of it.
What are you talking about? I don't like any of y'all.
Whoa. You said you were being nice to Greg. What the hell?
Doesn't mean I like y'all.
Well, I mean, that was short-lived anyway. It started getting in on me about going to some state that I've never even heard of. And
no doubt Mississippi.
That's okay. I keep thinking she's in Louisiana for some reason.
I don't sound like a coon ass. I feel like a redneck, but not a coon ass. No, totally different.
Not much difference there. Bayou, not Bayou, same accent. Craig did have triple airtime with Dave Schrader.
Triple airtime?
Yeah, we did. I think we did 3. I know we did 2 shows with him. I don't even remember anymore, but it was nice. I mean, he was on our event, and he did a really nice job of promoting it. I didn't expect it. I wasn't asking for it, but he did, and I'm very grateful for it. And then we did, which was really fun. We did a live show, and we recorded it. It wasn't put out on air as live, but we did a show at the Anderson House with the event. So we had 40 people in the audience, and it just, it's like that energy of an audience and having a good conversation. So that was really fun to do. And we're going to be doing a remote at Crypticon next Friday. So I'm going to be out, and they don't know me. So a live audience is probably going to be one other person, and that's the person who I'm talking to on the show. But you never know. There might be some people who have nothing else to do at the convention and come in and sit in the room, and it'll just be like either drunk or belligerent. Who knows? But we'll still do a show.
Let's hope not.
Well, if you see a beer bottle hit my head, then you guess that I was correct.
I'll laugh. Okay. Beer bottle, I'll laugh. We're good.
Yeah, you're just like, yes.
Just blame. You know what? Just blame it on Eileen, because she.
Well, here's the thing. She's not even going to watch to see if it happened. She'll wait to hear about it and maybe even watch it afterwards, or just be happy to know it happened. So it doesn't really matter.
Tom wants to know, do guests sometimes want to be paid for your show?
I think there might have been 1 or 2 who were kind of wondering about it, and there's, I barely get paid. So if I'm barely getting paid, then no.
We don't do this to get paid. Not too many of us will ever get paid.
Yeah, but he's on legitimate radio, though.
Well, the thing is, if you're doing 5 nights a week, you got to get something. You got to get something for it. So I do get something for it, but I'm not going to be driving around in a gold Rolls Royce now. But I mean, just the idea of being able to get a little something out of it is good. But sometimes I might get an author come to me, and it's not unreasonable that if they want to be on my show, depending on who they are, that I can ask, like, can you pay for your time being on?
Yeah.
I do that only for the ones I don't want on my show. So if you want to pay to be on my show, then I'll take your money. But otherwise, I'm not going to, there was some that were just really far out their books. I know it would make probably really good radio, but it's just like, I just, no, I'm not into it. So it's like, you can do it for this amount, and then of course you never hear from them again. So
Yeah.
Speaking of books, have y'all read Steve Gonzalez's new book or his book he just put out?
No, I didn't even know about it.
no, because it just came out, right?
Life
I mean,
with
just like 2
Ghosts?
weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes, I do audiobooks, but it's called Life with Ghost or something like that.
Yeah.
You should reach out to him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he,
Eileen,
I
you do
have
audiobooks-
actually.
You do audiobooks and you never want to participate in my audio projects?
hold on. I listen to audiobooks, but do you want this Southern twang on your books? You
I
have
got
to
a
get me
couple of them.
You have to get me a Southern one, and so I can talk about that plantation down the
Well,
road.
he's
I mean, if
getting that Scottish talk on one of his, so you might as well have that Southern twang on it.
Well, if you have a story set in
can't
whatever that
read.
state is that she said she's from, then you can definitely have her do that one then.
You got my Southern ass on there.
Yeah. Well, and you know who else?
What
is
about
coming
your
back?
voice though?
Yep. You know who also?
The other end talks just fine.
Well, you know who also is going to be on with a good Southern accent? Kat Hobson's returning.
I don't know if I've heard her voice.
It's going to
We've
be
had
a
her on the
thing,
show.
folks.
You were on that show with us. She's from Alabama.
Oh, Alabama isn't much of an accent for me. I don't even pay attention to that.
So anyway, we are at the top of the hour now, and we need to let Greg go so that he can get prepared for his own show, which starts in right at an hour.
And before you say
55
it,
minutes.
and before
Wow.
you say it, Brad and Tom, no, we're not going to go for a 10 or the 12-hour show.
No, we may go on for another minute, but we do need to.
There's this crazy show that comes on not long after ours, and we might have to be respectful for that person. I don't know, something like
Oh,
that.
wait,
called-
someone's coming back.
Oh yes, she always comes back.
It's going to be an interesting show because he's going to have Robert the Doll on it. You don't want to miss that one.
No.
It's
It's like,
called-
look at the cat.
The hell?
I just the way how he reacted was that was priceless.
Oh no, that was
Like
I was
what?
not expecting that one. He was like, what?
I'm so glad I made that a solo image for that. That was perfect.
It was. It really was.
You know what? If we ever want to make a documentary about Robert the Doll, we got to use that for the intro now.
Right.
Once I download this show, I'm going to get that clip because that was just too perfect.
Okay, we have to cut me out. I have zero makeup and I look like crap. So you have to cut me out.
Linda even caught that. So, anyway, Greg, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Always a blast having you on the show.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're all like, it's the longest 2 hours of our lives. So yeah.
Well, having you on with us gives us a chance to shut up.
My next, I want to do a Ghost Box session on Sunday, and we had shown off a little earlier. I have the SB7 Pro that was sent to me, and I want to use that. So hopefully Sunday, if I have the wherewithal, I do want to do it again. I miss it quite a bit. I do miss it quite a bit. I feel really disconnected from spirit now. So hopefully I can get back and do something soon.
Well, if it helps you out, Annie, a lot of our Sunday shows are on hiatus, so you can really come on almost anytime you want. On
Maybe
Sunday.
I will. Maybe I'll come on at I don't know. Well, I'll take a look and I'll talk with you about it and just kind of run it past you and see.
You still have your old slot for the radio show in the afternoon.
That's true too. So I might be going to see The Nun at that point.
Oh, you're gonna go see The Nun too?
Are you saying you're going to see The Nun 2 or The Nun 2? Because either way works. So.
I know you guys were kind of souring on the original Nun, but I really like that, so I'm really excited about it.
I love it.
So Honestly, even the same thing with me. I mean, I'm still considering about checking it out.
Oh, I'm going to check it out because I enjoy the entire Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
And you know what to expect from the Conjuring universe. I mean, and that's either good or bad. You just know that you're going to have a lot of little scares throughout the movie and then the big ending. That's just how it works. And they're not super scary, and you can see them flying in from Seattle, but at the same time, I do enjoy it. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And
I guess Joe's going to check it out too.
And as a bit of a teaser, the Conjuring universe is actually part inspiration for the book that I just started writing yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, what I'm also excited about is the doll.
On the radio show called Mississippi Ghost Box, and that's
do you mind explaining where Mississippi is, Greg?
I've never heard of it. So,
it's somewhere in the water.
If I was ever invited there, I'd probably know where it was. So,
I'll actually be honest. I remember when I was a younger kid, I used to always call it Mississippi instead. That's
younger kid. You're like 29.
Indiana and Illinois. So,
I'm going to be
all in that tri-state area.
I'm going to be 50. I'm going to be 50 in January, and here we have Nick. When I was a younger boy,
Greg, you're old,
right? No kidding.
Watch yourself, Eileen.
Yeah, she's got you there now.
You're only 24.
No. Eileen's 24. You talk about being old. Yeah, Eileen, you're the 24-year-old here.
Oh, really quick, I do want to.
Oh, Brad.
Hold on, what is that? Oh,
wow, that's one thing. One thing no one could ever do is joke about a woman's age. But Brad, I admire your daredevil skills.
He just thinks I won't show up, and he's crazy as hell.
He's a keyboard bully.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen this movie, The Pope's Exorcist, I really enjoy this because it is not your typical horror movie as what they have out today, where it's nothing but jump scares.
Yeah.
This show is not about jump scares. In fact, I can't even recall one.
The only thing I don't like about it was so much you knew certain things were gonna happen. That's the only thing that kind of got me.
So what I would recommend to everyone, if you have not done so, is watch the documentary The Demon and Father Amort. It's done by William Friedkin back in 2017 or whatever year it was that Father Amort passed away, and he's following somebody who's getting a real exorcism. It's a real documentary. It takes a very dark spin on it, and it freaked me out because when they're shooting her and she is having her convulsions, there are at least two voices coming out of her, and there's a twist with who actually is the one that's possessed. So because it's not just her. So if you have a chance, it's like 70 minutes or something. Check it out. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
Is it supposed to be a real documentary?
No, it's a fake one. Yes, it's a real documentary.
Smart ass.
What the hell?
It took me a second to even realize what she asked.
Otherwise, she would have called it a mockumentary.
Well, how many shows out are now saying, "Oh, it's a documentary"? The hell it is.
No, I totally get it. Linda, it's called the Demon and Father Amort. And Amort is Amotrh, if I'm not mistaken.
ORTH.
Oh, guys, just wanted to say, because I just went on YouTube, I found that cat clip already of Eileen. I just love the reaction out of it. I am out of here.
All right, and speaking of out of here, we need to get out of here so that Greg can get set up for his other show. I do want to put in one shameless self-promotion. Vote for me for the 2023 Face of Horror. I'm actually in second place. So,
yes.
Meanwhile, Greg, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
A lot of pleasure. And good luck with the show tonight. I'm
Good
definitely
luck.
going to make sure that I'm watching it because I am very interested in Robert the Doll.
The
Yeah.
very least I'm going to try to do is at least listen in because, like I said, I got to get back to work on the current book series. But I'll at least, at the very least, I'll listen in.
And they're all available on ghostboxradio.com to listen to later. So
Yes,
Wonderful.
Linda, it is.
If I don't fall asleep, I will try to tune in for the first time in a hot minute, Greg. Just for you, just because you're not invited to Mississippi anymore.
Well, one thing for sure, I know your cat will not be joining after hearing Robert the Doll. He just ran like hell. He ran like hell when he said after he made that stare.
Yeah, I'm going to get
Night,
that.
Jill, love you.
That was just too perfect.
That was so damn funny.
All right. So for those out there in the audience, thank you so much for joining us and playing along. You guys have been very active tonight. Again, Greg, thank you. And also glad to have Adrian and Eileen pop in for the last 20 turned to be 45 minutes of the show.
24 minutes.
It's been 24 minutes. We've added
What's
14 since then.
No, we don't have 8 hours to go, Brad.
Good
No,
night,
we
y'all.
All right,
No,
good night, everyone.
Everybody.